everyone. We're going to get started. We're really grateful to have this larger community gathering on this September evening to welcome and to bless and hold our leadership. And to get us started, we've invited one of our past DRUUMM Executive Committee members, the Reverend Walter LeFlore, to open us with a call to worship.
I bring you words from Reverend A. Powell Davies, words from a sermon he delivered. He said, "Do you belong to a religion that says humankind is not divided except by ignorance and prejudice and hate? The religion that sees humankind as naturally one and waiting to be spiritually united? The religion that proclaims an end to all exclusions and declares a brotherhood and sisterhood unbounded? The religion that knows we shall never find the fullness of the wonder and the glory of life until we are ready to share it. That we shall never have hearts big enough for the love of God until we have made them big enough for the worldwide love of one another." As you've listened to me, have you thought perchance that this is your religion? If so, do not congratulate yourself. Stop long enough to recollect the miseries of the world in which you live, the fearful cruelties, the enmities, the hate, the bitter prejudices, the need of such a world for such a faith. And if you can still say that this of which I have spoken is your faith, then ask yourself this question: what are you doing with it? Words of A. Powell Davies.
Hello, my name is Michael Hornsby.
My name is Reverend Kristen Green.
My name is Marion Key.
My name is Michelle Venegas Matula.
I'm Nina Litton.
I am Sherman Logan.
I'm the Reverend Walter LeFlore.
My name is Yasko Chanuki Endo.
My name is Angeline C. Jackson.
Hello, it's Carlton E. Smith.
I'm Reverend Claudia Jimenez.
My name is Clint Tawes.
My name is Camille Hatton.
I'm Reverend Dr. John Gilmore, also known as Prakash.
Hello, my name is Maya Wade Harper.
I'm Sherry Weston V. Hill.
Adele Smith Penniman.
My name is Justin Almeida.
I'm Reverend Duncan Teague.
My name is Ade Amankraba.
DRUUMM sustains me by keeping me connected.
By creating community.
By providing a place of healing and comfort and compassion.
By providing fellowship.
By providing a spiritual community where I can bring all of myself.
By holding safe space.
DRUUMM sustains me with hope. I light this flame, a symbol of our faith.
We light this chalice.
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 It is such a joy to be here with you all. The steering committee just met. It had its first meeting of the new congregational year right before this installation ceremony, and it was really, really so moving to see the heartfelt and beautiful commitment of all the folks that have come together. For us in our DRUUMM community, the work of being in leadership and nurturing and holding us together in community, it's not always the easiest thing to do, as many of us who've been in these roles can attest. We bring our love as individual members, we bring our love and caring and our longing for community, often the types of community we're not able to find in our individual Unitarian Universalist congregations here to this collective. And we also at times are bringing, how can we not, the experiences of marginalization and or trauma at the hands of systemic racism in our broader society and culture. And so at times, it's also hard because we can wind up getting triggered in those experiences, even with one another. even with one another. At times we can have difficulty transcending and working with and through all the individual differences of our identities, knowing that there's so many different identities in our drum community that are, and experiences that are not exactly like our own. Those are some of the challenges, but the beauty that we can find when we work with that is so immense. It's so immense. We really do need one another. And as some of the long timers, I guess I'm now one of them, can attest, over time we become beloved family to one another. We become family to one another. My children's aunties and uncles are part of this community. Some of y'all are here on these cameras now, by the way. I know Reverend Joseph could say the same thing. And my siblings, you know, my brothers and sisters, siblings of choice, of family of choice, are here in this circle, in this extended family. And we come together not just because we need one another and we are a community that our hearts long for, but also to sharpen our own skills and analysis as leaders in Unitarian Universalism and the broader world. We bounce off each other, sharpening each other's skills, sharpening each other's analysis, and how we're collectively moving towards institutional transformation, cultural transformation, a more beloved and just world around us. So this is the work that your steering committee, with deep love and with deep knowledge that this is the work that they are taking up, feeling called to, are moving into. It is hard leadership. I can offer my time in DRUUMM leadership was some of the most challenging leadership I've ever had in my entire career, and some of the most meaningful. It continues to be some of the most meaningful. So we join together today to offer love, to offer prayers, to offer blessings and gratitude to those who have come forth to be leaders among us. May we lend them our trust. May we lend them our love and care. May they know that they are in a lineage of leadership and of ancestors who are cheering them on with the fullness of our hearts and our souls, wanting them to succeed because their success is our collective success.
Hello, everybody. So glad to see your beautiful faces here today. Thank you so much for coming. And I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, like why did I want to serve on this committee? I mean, besides all of the fame. There is a beautiful legacy with DRUUMM, as you well know. And I was called to say yes today because I wanted to share my gifts with this community, to focus on us growing as a community, not only in numbers, but stronger, to continue the DRUUMM family and join it, as Manish so eloquently shared. My hope for DRUUMM in the future is that we not only have a presence at something like GA, General Assembly, which can be so powerful because we get to see each other. We get to have that vision of each other in a room, to share worship together. It can be such a powerful experience, but to also promote the DRUUMM experience in individual congregations, regionally, through our caucusing that we've been able to now make fairly regularly, fall and spring caucusing every year, so that we continue to inspire and challenge and grow each other as voices, to strengthen our voices in our local communities, regionally, nationally in the UUA, and even internationally, right? The legacy and inspiration I'm drawing upon is that of our ancestors, but also my own. My grandmother, who immigrated from Mexico as a young woman, and my family, who were Mexicans before Texas was part of the United States, who were Tejanos before we were part of the United States, and who were able to retain their culture and their identity despite the onslaught of American hegemony. And I know that when I bring that culture to DRUUMM, I'm honored and my family's honored. And I appreciate that we can be our full selves here together. So thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for welcoming me so graciously into this beautiful community.
Nice to be here in a different capacity now. I started as a secretary, unsure, and getting my leadership feet in coming from an era of invisibility and downward pressure. And what I've learned in being with DRUUMM is that when you are thrown into these spaces, you have the collective strength of all of your DRUUMM community. Coming from being adopted, having no family, being alone, to suddenly having so many family was overwhelming, but it gave a sense of strength. And also, too, it reminded me of the power of strength in a wave. We are a great wave that is coming in. And be like water, martial artist Bruce Lee had said. It is soft but powerful. But what called me here mostly was beloved Matthew P. Taylor. He said, "Auntie, we need your voice, your wisdom. You've been around the world." But also it was Hope Johnson who reached out to me during an intern and supervisor meetup, of which I was the only one of color in the group, who reminded me that I didn't need to be fancy with my words, that what I had was enough. And those gifts that our ancestors give us today help us move forward collectively together. And so I'm one of many, but I am also with you, helping carry you forward. So please reach out to me. My door is always open, and we need each other. Without each other, there is no ocean. Let us be the ocean.
Thank you, Reverend Sanjay. And our other Vice President, welcome to Tomi.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us and welcoming us. It was really beautiful to read some of the words of blessing shared by members earlier today. I think I said yes because of what DRUUMM has given to me. Every time I'm in DRUUMM space, it feels like home. And for it to do that again and again, I want to be able to hold that container and be part of making that space for others, because I have found it wonderful and nurturing. And some hopes that I have for DRUUMM for the future are that all who need it find it, that we expand the imagination of the sacred in all the places that we are, that we continue to push the broader UU community, but also all of the places where we land, to see what is possible, to continue to see more possibilities. And there's so much that I feel like that I have to draw on in this role. I want to give a shout out to the person who introduced me to DRUUMM, who's Pam Watt. She is a minister who I met when she was here in Texas. And, both her presence as a person and the way that she held her official role was just beautiful. But I think, just the hope and joy that I felt when she told me about this organization, and I loved it just as much as she thought I would. And there have been so many other people that I've watched in my time with Drum, people who have, really reached out to me, like Reverend Marcel. And I think it's just watching how people, there's always like a moment. So I remember there was a GA where Reverend Ron was talking about, abundance, and like that just really stuck with me. And I think it's watching people inhabit these roles and really like not just lead by example, but just like live into not just the values that we espouse, but again, this imagination, like making this possibility very visible and palpable. I don't know if there's a time limit, so I will wrap up. And so it's just examples like that, both people who've reached out directly to me and people who, I might be watching from afar, but who've really touched me. The legacy of my family, just really feeling like I have space to grow and that I will always be held, and, finding a piece of that in Drum. I think that's something that that I draw upon. And the idea of just continuing to move. So, when I look at people who have achieved what seems impossible, like looking back 30 years at, some social justice fight, that I'm just like, how did they even like push that bar back then? But I think it's that idea of, continuing to move. What's that poem where, if you can't run, then walk. And if you can't walk, then do it. Like, there's always a way to move, just keep moving. And what that movement does and the joy that we can root that movement in. Anyway, so those are some of the things that I draw upon. And I am honored to be here. And I look forward to being with you all this year. And I will pause there.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kate Goka, and I'll be the treasurer this year. I grew up UU. The question, why did I say yes? I feel like because I can say yes like with a whole heart to Drum. And it doesn't feel as good to say no all the time. Or like, in some UU spaces, it's a little bit like, you're not quite getting my whole heart. How can I, like, I don't get to say yes in the same way. Here, mistakes and all, I can say yes. And so I'm really excited about this term. I also practice Buddhism, and so finding refuge is very important. And I do feel like Drum is a refuge. It's a refuge for me, and I hope, like Tomi was saying, that it can be a refuge for more and more people, and that we can be a refuge for each other. It's not just like, I need a refuge, but I want to be your refuge, that we can do it together. And when I grew up UU, I went to Sunday school, and I remember I was also a religious educator for a little while at a UU church in the Bay Area. And I was reading Mark Morrison Reed. I don't have the book, so I don't remember which one it is, and I don't have the details, but I was struck so much because he was writing, of course, about how Black UUs were, trying to get recognition, and part of one of the early things was creating curriculum that was diverse. And I don't remember the name of the curriculum, but when I read it, I was like, oh my God, I had that. And I learned about Harriet Tubman in the 70s. I did not learn about Harriet Tubman in my public school. I learned about it in my UU church. And, he doesn't know me, or the people who wrote that curriculum didn't know me as a little kid. And so it's a reminder that whatever we can do, we don't really know the impact, but there can be very important ripples from the things we do.
Thank you all. Kate kind of took a few of the words from my mouth about why I chose to serve. First off, I'm so grateful to Reverend Sanye and Esperanza for inviting me to be part of this and to be the acting secretary this year. I mean, it's just the steering committee and all the rest that hold us are just amazing, and such an honor to be here. DRUUMM, I was going to say what Kate said, that has just always been such a refuge for myself and my family. There's been so many hard times over the years. I have been involved, I've been part of UUism since about 2013, 2014, and then came to DRUUMM in 2017, which I have Reverend Marisol Caballero to thank for that. So grateful to her for bringing me in. But this community has just affirmed over and over again that my family and I have a place in UUism, even when it doesn't feel like it. But this is the space that DRUUMM creates for us. So I just want to be able to give back in the way that I have received from this community, and be able to continue this beautiful community and this beautiful legacy, and not just for those of us that are here now, but those that are coming, for my kids, for younger generations that are already with us, as well as future generations. So it's a really exciting time to be part of DRUUMM, and I'm just hopeful by the efforts of DRUUMM and sibling organizations like Blue, and how we're creating and continuing to transform UUism, and really making a lasting change. And so one of my specific hopes for DRUUMM is that anytime a person in the global majority enters a UU space, that not only do they know that they have found a space that they can bring their whole self and be nurtured, but that their welcome packet includes information about DRUUMM, that they know right from the get-go that we're here, that there's a community of UUs that looks like them, that have had similar lived experiences like them, that there's a place where they can get extra sustenance, comfort, compassion, and resources. So even if they're the only person of the global majority entering that space, that they're not alone. As far as the legacy and inspiration, I have to thank my ancestors, many of whom their spirituality was stripped away from them, or that they had to choose to hide it in order to be able to survive. But yet they still held on, they still had resilience, and they still passed on so much wisdom and traditions to me and my family. And I get to continue to do that. And as far as I'm also just inspired and in awe of the DRUUMM leaders and members that came before me, that kept things going when things were really hard. And this includes recent ancestors like Alondra Williams and Matthew P. Taylor, who just led with such love and compassion, and were so rooted in collective liberation. So I am grateful to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I bring you greetings from the land of the Abenaki people, and I'm in Montpelier, Vermont. Yes, Montpelier, Vermont. There's like 10 people of color in the whole town, and we all know each other. But no, I'm not really joking. But the call to serve with DRUUMM is a way of me giving back to a denomination and a faith that have saved my life. 15 years ago, UUism saved my life as I left my Holiness Pentecostal ministry and was in a very, very dark space. And it gave me a clean slate. Said, you can believe what you have grown to believe and what you have a free journey. And I created my own theology, but was in a community of lovers, and they just opened up their arms to me. But I was the only person of color for many, many years. And coming from a predominantly, I would say, all Black Holiness Pentecostal church that is akin to Kojic, if y'all know what Kojic is, it was a shift. But this community saved my call to ministry and my future career. And that was on a virtual gathering about a year ago, when blessings of joy and hope and love washed over those that were being lifted up for credentialing and fellowship, and it spilled all over me. It just washed all over me. And that's why I'm still here. And, you know, my inspiration, my first drum experience was a couple of years ago, virtually because of the pandemic. And it was by invitation to preach at a virtual service at GA by the late Matthew P. Taylor. And I never got to meet them in person. But they encouraged my soul. And I'm journeying on under that foundation. And I just found out under another foundation, that's Alondria Williams. Another person during that GA that I was like, wow, we are doing things. We are changing things, and we are present, we are visible. And that gave me so much hope. And another one that I never got a chance to meet. So, but they kept space and they kept their presence and they were visible. And that's what I aspire for all of us to be more of. In any way that I can help that happen and carve that space and have that visibility at GA is one of my visions for my new role. So thank you very much. And thanks for the welcome.
Thank you all for being here. I'm Karen Lynn from Cambridge, Massachusetts. I said yes to this call because DRUUMM saved me at a time when I was so close to leaving the faith, and I owe my presence here today as a Unitarian Universalist to DRUUMM. And so it was always only a matter of time before I found the way to give back, and the call came at the right time in my life and in the right capacity. And when I got the list of names of people I would be serving with, I said, I will learn so much from these people. I will be fed so much by working with these people. It is such a privilege to serve with them and to serve all of you. My hope for DRUUMM is that we simply that we continue to be a transformative force, so that people come to us not only from places of great pain, but from places of abundance and joy and wanting to find a fuller expression of their faith. I draw so much inspiration from the founders of DRUUMM and those who led in its early years, when there were so much fewer of us then, and so much harder to find each other. They persisted and created the space that has grown to this amazing organization that I feel so honored to be a part of. Thank you for your trust in me, and I hope to be worthy of that trust.
Thank you, Karen. And I want to just acknowledge two of our members who could not be with us this evening. Noelle Burke, our outreach coordinator, who's based in the St. Louis area, and the Reverend Michael Crumpler, who is our UUA liaison based in the New York City area. And before we go to a prayer, I just wanted to just bring everyone up onto the screen and just ask for just a moment of beholding, so we can just acknowledge and send energy, however that feels comfortable to you, to our wonderful steering committee folks who are serving this year. And make sure I get everyone up here. We're really grateful for each of you. And in a moment, I'm going to invite Manish to join, so to offer a prayer.
Spirit of love, Spirit of life, Holy One and holiness, known by so many names. We in this community, coming together from so many identities and experiences, but united in our commitment to care for one another, lift one another up, support one another, in service to the transformation that Unitarian Universalism needs and our broader society and culture need. From that place of collective knowing and strength, we bless each and every one of these steering committee members. May they remain steadfast in the commitments that helped them arrive here together collectively, which they shared so beautifully with us just moments ago. May they remain steadfast to those commitments, knowing that they are beautiful, that they are true, they are exactly what liberation and revolution need. May we offer graciously and generously any forgiveness, any understanding, any grace that's needed, because leadership is an imperfect art. We all get things wrong as leaders, we all do. And so may we support them generously and graciously in the work that they're doing on our behalf to bring us together, to hold us together, and to further the future that we need in order to thrive, and that our whole world needs in order to really, really deeply thrive. We offer that love and we offer these blessings tonight with our full hearts, and not just for tonight, for the months, weeks, years ahead as their service continues. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be. Ashe.
With that, we will be bringing the ceremony to a close, and we've invited Esperanza to offer the closing words. And I'm going to just go ahead and pass it over to you, Esperanza.
Thank you, Joseph. So as I mentioned to some of y'all, maybe earlier, maybe at this meeting, this is the eve of the when we celebrate the Mexican Revolution. And so I found some words from Subcomandante Marcos that I wanted to share with you as closing words today. So against crime, justice. Against the imposition, or I guess you could also say authoritarianism, we call for democracy. Against slavery, freedom. Against oppression, rebellion. Against humiliation and contempt, dignity. Against oblivion, memory. Against silence, we demand the word and respect. And against death, we demand life.